Pleased with the result, Mark?
Yes, and in parts I thought in various parts I thought our performance was excellent, and then in other parts it was quite patchy, which I get when thinking about the game and how, at one point I think Morecambe had at least 5 on our back line, which was quite random, but I get why they would do that. I understand that, but particularly in the first half I thought we were in total control. I thought we were very patient. I thought we passed well. We waited for opportunities. One thing we talked about before the game was not forcing things and being patient and horseshoeing it from one side to the other, and the gaps would appear, and I thought we did that well. I thought we mixed the game up with their centre half stepping in and working diagonal passes for a 7 and 11s in the pocket. Nice to see the goal go in. I thought then the second half became quite bitty, and we didn't play as much as I would liked us to, but I understand why.
Max 2-2 now to match his performances.
Has he been given that first goal?
Yes, I think so.
Oh, brilliant! Really pleased for him.
Are you going to give it to him?
I would definitely give it to him. No, it's something we've actually talked about. We're talking about for any player. I just want the best I want the best for Lincoln, but I also want the best for Max. I've played football and I've had my career, and I want to see all the players have the best careers we get. And I talked about the first thing anybody looks at when you're looking at any player, midfield, even centre halves on opposition, on set pieces opposite, is what does your XG look like for goals? And I talked to Matty and Max about that in the last few weeks. So it was kind of saying, like, you're never going to score if you don't shoot. You're never going to score if you don't put yourself in positions to shoot. So it's something we've talked about and looked at. So I'm really pleased that they're getting the plaudits they deserve, basically.
It felt like after that, you mentioned about how many Morecambe were pushing forward, but they probably responded in a way better to the goal.
To our second goal.
To the first goal. Towards the end of the first half, they had probably more of the play.
Yeah, they did. But if you look at the first half, Carl, I think they hit the post once. I can't quite remember what happened. But Carl's not had a save to make in the first half. There's been shot on hitting the post, high class as target. Statistically speaking, it's not. But that's the quietest I've seen Carl in a game. So I try not to get sidetracked by what it looks like. It's about final third entries, key passes, and I thought defensively we had no problems in the first half, but second half was a different game. And
it felt like the moment when I think it was Jack who injected a run from right to left. It seemed to get the team going. That a couple of minutes later led to the goal.
Yeah, look, if I'm being honest, my biggest disappointment. I thought we gave away a really poor goal. There's no doubt about that. But I was actually particularly disappointed in finishing in the final third, because we should have. I thought at one point we could have easily been 2 or 3 up, and it keeps people in the game, gives them an opportunity. They then got a great strike from them. There's certain things I wasn't happy with from our perspective, but it just gives them a lift. Football 2-0, it's a horrible result. It's the most dangerous result in football, and you've got everything to lose. And once they scored, it's they're going to go for it, and they did do. But one thing I was really, really pleased about when they did score, I thought we defended excellently.
Ben was man of the match for us, was man of the match for the sponsors, got his goal as well at 6 for the season. I know he's been pleasing you as well.
Yeah, and what a lot of people who are not here won't see is the work he does off the pitch. I mean, I grew up watching Ian Rush, who was the best defender in the league when he played, but he was a centre forward, if you understand what I was saying. And the first line of defence is attack, and what he gives us tactically out of his game understanding out of possession is outstanding, and a lot of people won't see that if you're not here. He sets off so many counter presses, so many counter attacks, and really pleased to see him score. And I would just like him to look a little bit happier when he does.
The goal you conceded, you mentioned it. I mean, it was a good finish, we should say, but the header was back into the danger area.
Yeah, and look, I thought Jamie Robson was outstanding today. I thought he had a really good game. They tried to pinpoint him in the second half. They made changes. They tried to hit big diagonals on it. I thought he defended really, really well. My frustration with the goal is something I talk about a lot, is that type of clearance. And to be fair to him, I think he was stretching. It was almost a diving header, so it was probably out of his hands. If anything, I thought our midfielders were too deep, and if we'd have played with a little bit, if we played 2 or 3 yards higher, it doesn't go in the back of the net. Flip side, that was a great finish, and credit to the lad who scored. Was it Jensen? So credit to him.
Your club captain comes on, and people always talk about him as an attacker, but of course one of the things he does is great defensive headers. I think I counted 2 or 3 in the last few minutes.
Yeah, and do you know what? Look, we rate Tom highly as a striker first and foremost, but one of the key things to get him on was we know what he brings to us in terms of leadership, defensive responsibilities. We know he's got goals in him. I thought even up the opposite end of the pitch, he pins people, he gives people an opportunity to connect the units, and I was really pleased to hear the response from the crowd, which we know it's coming, but it's nice when I hear that'll mean the world to Tom.
Pleased to sign off for 2 weeks from the league now with that win.
Yeah, I don't mind admitting this. We want to play as well as we can, and we did in patches in the game, which was really pleasing. All I really cared about today was winning the game. It's a long 2 weeks. It puts us in a really healthy position, and it means we can just really focus on the game on Tuesday. We've got a massive game on Tuesday, but from a league perspective, today just all I cared about was getting 3 points, and I'm glad we got that.
Football clubs need to regenerate new fans. You had 800 youngsters, I know, behind the goal, the Stacey West. I can tell you, if you weren't looking, they were certainly enjoying the end of the game. Great that they got a win, and that's how you build new fans, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's about what does the next generation look like, and that's what football's all about, and it starts with the product you give them for parents to bring the kids and stuff like that. But actually we were all very aware of it. You know when kids are in the ground, they're vociferous, they make such a noise, they create a brilliant atmosphere, and I think that was why at the end of the game all the players, because that's obviously an away end for most games, and I thought it was lovely of the players to go and show them the respect and the plaudits that the kids deserve. So thank you very much to them.
Mark, thank you.
Thank you.